Let's start by breaking something you probably accept as reality. The modern financial system, your bank account, your salary, your coffee, isn't grounded in physical laws. Take a dollar bill. Compared to a pile of wooden sticks, there is no physical difference that makes the paper money better. It only works because we, as a society, collectively agree that it holds value. This applies to everything we consider precious. Gold is not mechanically superior to an average rock you'd find in your driveway. It is a shiny rock that humans decided to prize. The value is entirely in our heads. This psychological agreement is why Gucci can sell a leather handbag for 100 times the price of a nearly identical bag at Target. People perceive the brand as holding more worth, and that perception creates financial reality. Steve Jobs designed the iPhone to be perceived as essential. Because millions of people assigned it that high value, they were willing to trade thousands of dollars for a single device, creating some of the largest fortunes in history. Because money and value are social constructs, winning financially is about understanding the invisible rules that govern how this shared illusion actually operates. The first rule to learn involves where your money actually lives. When you hand a cashier $1,000, you probably picture it being carried to a steel vault, guarded by lasers, waiting for you to return. This is a diagram showing how banks actually operate. They are matchmakers. When you deposit $1,000, the bank immediately puts that money to work through a system called Fractional Reserve Banking. They are only required to keep a fraction of the cash on hand. In this diagram, the bank secures $100 in the vault and immediately takes the other $900 and lends it to someone who wants to buy a jet ski. That deposited money is already gone, out in the economy acting as an engine. You are the supply of money, the borrower is the demand, and the bank takes a cut for setting up the date. Since banks are constantly lending out your deposits, they need a system to decide who gets the cash. The credit score is the 3-digit algorithm that dictates your financial life. This number, which ranges from 300 to 850, has nothing to do with your income or the amount of money in your savings. It strictly measures one thing: trust. It tells a lender the mathematical probability that you will pay them back. This chart shows how that trust is calculated. The biggest piece of the pie is your payment history. Do you pay your bills on time? Right next to it is credit utilization, which measures how much of your available credit you are currently spending. The remaining slices look at how long you've had accounts open and the variety of loans you carry. Mortgages, credit cards, auto loans. The algorithm likes to see you successfully juggle different types of debt. If a single payment enters a late period, that metric of trust collapses. Your score plunges, and suddenly borrowing money becomes expensive, if not impossible. You could have zero debt and millions in the bank, but if you have no credit history, your score will be low. It is a game of appearances, where looking reliable to lenders is the mandatory cost of entry. Once you're in the system, you face the mandatory costs of participating in society. First up, taxes. You get paid $2,000, but your bank account only sees $1,400. That missing chunk is the cost of civilization. A portion of those deductions goes towards social programs. Social Security acts like a forced savings account. The government takes a cut of your money now with the promise to pay it back to you gradually when you retire. Right alongside it is Medicare, a mandatory health insurance tax designed to support older citizens and populations with serious medical needs. The rest of those federal and state income taxes are pooled together to build the physical world around you, funding schools, filling potholes, and paying for highway infrastructure projects. Those same taxes fund the reach of the military, paying for the production of billion-dollar hardware and the deployment of long-range missiles. The second friction is interest. Think of interest as money's way of charging rent to exist in someone else's hands. When you borrow, you pay a premium to hold that cash. This graph shows the danger of borrowing. Simple interest is a flat fee. But with compounding debt, your unpaid interest starts earning interest on itself. That curve arcs upward, turning a missed payment on a $12 burrito into a $50 debt. Taxes and compound debt work around the clock. They are the twin frictions of the economy, siphoning capital from anyone who ignores the math. Even if you avoid debt, you still face macro forces that erode your wealth. Inflation is the continuous drop in your money's purchasing power. A $5 bill stays a $5 bill, but every year it buys less gas and fewer groceries. This happens when people have more cash and they all want to buy the same stuff. If 2,000 people want a specific TV, but the store only has 1,000 in stock, the store raises the price. To halt these price spikes, the government raises interest rates. This makes it more expensive for you to get a car loan or use a credit card, leaving you with less cash to bid on that TV. When enough people stop bidding, the heat leaves the economy. But hitting the brakes on the economy triggers the natural bust phase of the cycle, a recession. This is defined as at least 6 straight months of economic decline. During a recession, companies slash their budgets, jobs vanish, the stock market tumbles, and everyone stops buying things they don't explicitly need. Storing money in a shoebox ensures your purchasing power will fall behind the rising cost of living. The way to survive this continuous erosion is investing. This is the point where you stop trading your hours for wages and force your money to clock in and work for you. You do this by buying assets that hold value: ownership slices of companies called stocks, structured government loans called bonds, or physical property through real estate. Success with these tools relies on the most valuable asset you have: time. A modest paycheck can turn into a 7-figure retirement if it is allowed to grow for decades. This chart shows compound interest acting as a wealth engine. When you invest consistently, the returns generate their own returns. Over decades, that money starts to clone itself, multiplying slowly at first and then faster. Ordinary people retire with significant wealth, not by getting lucky, but by accepting that money is an illusion, providing real value to society and giving the math enough time to work in their favor.